Righto, Coops, we're certainly at the pointy end here. Just quickly before we start, well done to the Tigers and to Benji Marshall because, you know, there was pressure there and a lot of people talking about have they improved, have they not, but Benji held his nerve and they've been fantastic of late.
They've definitely improved. 9 wins for the season, the same as Manly. They're coming off a very low base, but they have improved. He got some talent into the joint.
Yep.
With May, Luai, Taruva, and he stayed strong and stoic in his belief because he had a lot of things coming at him, Lachlan Galvin leaving, all that stuff, but he made a really couple of tough decisions and he's not at the end of it, but at least there's some positivity going the Tigers' way.
Just quickly on Dewey too. What's really important for Adam is that he doesn't try to be a conventional halfback now.
Yeah.
He's taken his talents to the number.
So we spoke about Jake Averillo, come in, being good for a week or two. Well, he's done well for 3 weeks. Now he can't over-engineer it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Xavier Coates, Daniel Tupou. One of the main things we spoke about last week is the interpretation now of the rule.
Yep.
You can't you can't hit the attacking player in the air, and Xavier and Daniel Tupou are getting to the point they're almost undefendable.
It was so good on the weekend when the ball goes up, the adrenaline rush and excitement. But how do you handle Coates? There's 2 ways. Brighton To'o went to row 10 to get the run up to try and leap up with Xavier Coates. Physically outmatched here, but he tried his absolute backside off and still half a centimetre from it. Here, Coates has got the leg up. Brighton To'o comes back and tries to generate speed to jump up, and that left hand of Coates just comes up and is the difference. I'm not sure what To'o does next time. The Penrith Panthers play Melbourne Storm, but he tried his backside off and still can't. Like, there's centimetres in that. Still can't get it. On the other side, look what Tuala's doing.
Yeah.
It's almost Tuala's gone to the basketball, box out Daniel Tupou to try and keep him off his run and still got out-muscled.
Just gone around him. Tupou looked as though he was sort of getting to the twilight of his career and, he's another season. Mate.
He changed midway to others to say, I can't compete, so now I'm just going to let him catch it, and sits under the drop zone thinking, I'll just wait till Tupou catches it, gets his foot down, tries to tackle him, separates. So what you do on Coates and Tupou, I don't have the answer, but ultimately you need a bigger winger to opposite him, and they need to jump up at the same time.
Coop, the Roosters...
It's 50-50.
Like last week, for me, there was an anomaly in the odds with winning the competition. You had Dogs last week at 6-1, and you had the Roosters win the comp at $41. Yet when they played each other, if you look at the market, it was a toss of a coin either way. And Roosters have gone into 19s now. They have shortened up massively.
Yeah.
Sam Walker's made an enormous difference. We'll get to Sam in a minute. Just on talking about the Bombs, I want to put focus on the history of the game. I like talking about the history of the game and for younger viewers to know sort of where we come from and where things are going. And the originator, the godfather of the Bomb, was a fella called Johnny Peard.
Yep.
Peardy, just terrific player, but one of the great blokes. Peardy played in those great eastern suburb sides and then went to Parramatta, and his nickname was the Bomber. He was the guy that really brought the Bomb to be a big weapon. Now,
so what's the tactic in these days? What's the tactic here?
Well, Coop, what it was, it was a 50-50 contest, knock it up traditionally. But the other thing about it, Coop, was back in the day, in this instance now, let's say, is if you caught the ball in the in goal, you're a Balmain player, and you got hit the in goal, it wasn't a 20-metre restart.
Oh, right.
It wasn't a 20-metre restart. It was a repeat set.
Yep.
So this was a tactic for the repeat set, and not just to score a try, but a repeat set for extra possession. Now, what's interesting, Coop, right through the 60s, through to the 80s, this was a huge tactic in the game. Let's go forward now to the 1985 Grand Final. And this was Canterbury Bulldogs up against St George Dragons. Now, what the tactic here, this tactic defined the game. They just kept putting the ball up to the fullback, Burgess.
Yep.
Look at this, bang, and just all game just kept
and got the ball back.
Just kept getting the ball back, and it just went. This is all in the first half. This is early in the game.
So would I be right, off the back of this grand final, they changed the rule?
They changed the rule.
Right.
Straight after this grand final, they'd realised what had happened and that this tactic was just defining contest.
Yeah.
So that's where they made the decision. They were, OK, So there's been an evolution in how they changed the rule. Firstly, they said, righto, the first interpretation was, if you put a bomb up within the attacking 25 quarter and the fullback defused it, then 20-metre restart. But if you kicked it outside the 25, it was play on.
Gotcha.
And then eventually it started to get complicated. And they went, you know what, the bottom line is, if the fullback catches the ball on the full, in the end goal, 20-metre restart. Let's talk about the Broncos and Coops. No Adam Reynolds, no Ezra Mann. We spoke last week how important it was for Reece Walsh to step up. I think his best performance in 18 months.
By a country mile. Whatever he did before that game, bottle it and release it again this weekend. He was dynamic, he was dialed in, and we always say this about fullbacks, when they have a big game, it's almost key to what their first touch was.
Yep.
Reece Walsh didn't finesse it. He ran straight back in the teeth of a couple of kick returns. And then when he decided to hit the scoreboard and have an impact, 40-20 to start the second half, went on, scored 4 tries. But the Broncos have found their recipe with no Ezra Mann and Reynolds.
Yep.
Open up the field, get Reece Walsh involved, because there was a try just before half-time where they played from that wide field position. He was one-on-one with Isaiah Katoa.
Yes.
This is it here. And just used his speed, set up his outside man, and Shibasaki comes back here and Reece Walsh scores. So, for your team this weekend, on Sunday afternoon, Jack Cogger, Arthur the halves, the Brisbane Broncos game plan should be shift from wide field positions, get Reece Walsh one-on-one, and he will cause headaches.
And we said that last week, Coop. The Broncos look their best when they open the field up. And even in that instance, they don't open the field right up. They actually move just before the scrum line. But even then, it's just enough for Walsh. He creates mismatches and he burns that third last defender.
That is the look they need every game here from here on out until, well, even when Ezra and Adam come back. But in the meantime, get your main man involved because he was everywhere. He was brilliant. That's his best performance in a long time in a Broncos jersey.
You know, really impressive about the Broncos too, Coops, is, and again, we've spoken on this, is we said the next step for the Broncos is going to be the ability to continue to play the style of football they should play, which is expansive, exciting football, even when the game's on the line. Because they look to me that they're a team that when they skip clear a fair bit against a few sides in the last month, they look great.
They put the hammer down.
But when the game was on the line, they would tighten. In this game, against the Dolphins, there was periods there where the game was in the balance and they continued to play this style of football.
It's Reece Walsh down the short side, Reece Walsh on the long side, right? That's ultimately where it sits. Like the confidence they played was 4 tries in that second half. This try here, the Walters kick was brilliant. Whatever they did, whatever mindset they were in, that's the rinse and repeat for the Broncos for the remainder of the year.
Katani was fantastic as well.
Oh, how good was he?
Because
and that match-up with Hammer was so good. They both had a try early, and Katani Staggs, like, I don't know, he's gone to another level this year.
On the losing side, fantastic to see Trey Fuller back. He's come back from an ACL injury, really found his feet again, and some of the things he did in the game. He can do things in the game others can't. He like, if you look at a lot of the Indigenous players...
This try here,
this is unbelievable.
One of the better individual tries of the season. Mate, second tackle, big game, Battle of Brisbane. He takes a hit up into the teeth of the Broncos' defence. Footwork, speed, and more so that gets him through is the courage.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he gets to the backfield, he sets up Reece Walsh with the dummy and try. Like, that's a hell of a play.
Look, with a lot of the Indigenous players, and I play with a lot of the boys, and the ball just bounces from...
It does. They can talk to the football.
Beautiful hands. Yeah. And the bloke I talk about all the time, the most natural footballer I ever played with was Owen Craigie. I remember a game in the late 90s, and mate, he did something here. Like, the game is...
Look at that right foot,
amazing, amazing. This is it. Mind you, he's a right footer. He's cornered, kicks on his left foot.
Right.
Bounce back. Scores the try.
It's pretty good from Craigie, but I like the lead-up work. I'm not sure who that was, but
it was amazing.
Was that Isaiah Cartel back 20 odd years?
It was someone. It truly was.
You talk about Indigenous round, and the thing I love about Indigenous round is the Indigenous players are the best players in the field. Yeah. Like, Cody Walker comes back from a long
difference he
makes a huge difference, sets up 2 tries. We're already speaking about Katoni Staggs. Nico Hines was brilliant. Yep. Like, in the history of Indigenous round, like, if you could go through and see who was the best player on the field, I'm going to say a large percentage were Indigenous players.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yep. Yeah, and Fuller and the other one, Jai Gray. is that this is the two guys who are short in stature, but they've got fast feet. Yep. And they're tough. They don't want taking a blow. And it just shows you in this modern game, it's them with 6 to goes and the fatigue through the middle of the ruck. And that's where the space is, how they use that to their advantage.
We spoke about, when was it, a couple of weeks ago. So South played the Titans. And the week before, South got smashed by the Brisbane Broncos. And we said if they're going to avoid the wooden spoon, it's going to be based on effort, heart and character. Gray had 3 back-to-back plays, 3 in a row that saved a try. It was a try-saving tackle. He got up close to the line, saved another one. Then he chased through on the kick. And I think it was Isaiah Iongi in like a couple of minutes to go.
Yes.
He literally won the game with that tackle.
Yeah.
Broke through the line. Beautiful offload. I think it was Junior Barlow in the lead-up. But if he had have missed that legs tackle by half a metre, I think Iongi carries him over and wins the game. Jai Gray was fantastic.
If everyone's available, let's imagine you go into the semi-finals next week and Souths are in the finals. Is a Jai Gray fullback, Latrell stays in the centres?
Look, that's a different scenario. They're in a finals in a big game.
Yep.
I think Latrell needs to be with the one.
But,
right?
but I'd have Gray 14.
Yeah, but right now, playing next week, if Latrell's back, Gray is fullback.
Coops, just back on the Roosters for a second, and I want to talk about Sam Walker, and I want to give you a wrap here because mate, when Sam come into grade, and mate, you put a lot of information when you worked really hard with him and put a lot of work in. Now, this is what I see with footballers, right? Particularly instinctive footballers. Like, he's the sort of kid, Sam, that he'd have had a football in his hands and boots on his feet before he was out of nappies. And he was just one of the best instinctive footballers I've seen. But instincts in the NRL only carry so far. You have to have a football education. And when you go into an NRL system and you've just come through on your instincts and spotting what you've seen and playing reactive football, being taught structure feels like you've been fitted for a straitjacket. And it takes a long time to sort of blend those together. And the work that you've put into him, Coop, I think this 12 months, he'll look back at the 12 months out of the game and say, it was actually a blessing because it's enabled him to sit away from the week-to-week pressure and actually process all the information. Do you know what I mean? And what you see him now at the moment is in a really sweet spot. Instinct meets education. And since he's returned, the best he has ever played, but look at the difference in the Roosters.
I think anyone who works with Sam, like now or into the future, you're never going to touch the cool stuff. Like, you just don't say, oh, mate, don't do that anymore. It's just like, keep doing that, like, back yourself. But if you can pick up these basic fundamentals, I think it will complement. So he's played some really good games for the Roosters. I would argue that's one of the best.
Yep.
Based on a couple of things. He ran the football. He knew that Preston was going to come after him, so he avoided contact by stepping, weaving. And he still had the cool, sexy things that we all marvel at and the highlight reel stuff. But the thing that I was impressed with, he kicked the ball to Tupou. He saw that Tuala was out of position and nervous. Normally, Sam would go for another trick shot. Oh, I've already scored that, set up that try, but he kept going back. That's understanding the science of the game, and when it's a game of chess, is that you found a crack. Don't go away until they fix it. And they kept, I thought they'd put Crichton on the wing, but they didn't. Kept Tuala there. Sam kept kicking the ball, couple of tries. It was a pretty good performance. And to be fair, I thought Hugo Savala was very good too, mate.
Coops, I'll tell you, mate, he has been so impressive. And it's the explosion of Sam coming back in his form, that has sort of stopped Hugo getting the raps he deserves. This, you know what I love about Hugo? Is that, and this has to be the basis, when you come through into the grades, you have to have really strong core fundamentals. Yep. And if you look at it, mate, he's very good at recognising, 3-on-2 situations. He's got nice hands. He's got a beautiful pass, and that is the core when you're a playmaker. Yep. If you look at Newcastle yesterday, Newcastle a couple of times blew simple 2-on-1 situations. Yep. And if you look at those Tigers sides, right, Benji talks about this all the time. That's a nice play. Yep. So he's got a really nice little straight. But
he understands the smarts of footy. Like, he's intelligent because he knows he's got a 5-on-4 advantage on that play, so he just stays square and lets Tedesco take advantage. Up against Kickow, he would have seen vision all week about how Kickow flies out of line and almost annihilates halves.
Yeah.
he realised that Kikau sometimes does it. So he steps off the right, beats him with a bit of footwork, and now he's starting to plant. That time, just cops a whack and lets someone else do the thing because he gets to his target defender. So, again, running the football. Like, he had a really good game. And he matched Matt Burton in the long kicking game.
He did.
Like, that's hard to do.
Yep.
That is hard to do.
That's a beautiful play. But, yeah, like, young Benji talks about Sheensy. It was the same before. And he said, Sheens just worked 2-on-1, 3-on-2.
Yep.
Hands, every session, skill. And they were going, oh, mate, this again. But it's the core fundamentals. Now, you can have all the great attacking sequences you want, but if your playmakers don't have those core fundamentals, everything collapses. When you're a playmaker as well as making your pass easy to catch. That makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're a playmaker, you know, when you're throwing to me or vice versa, the last thing you need is a ball that's coming like that all the time. And
or
what
up,
Hugo's
or down, behind.
That's right. Hugo and blokes like Wade Egan, it rotates beautifully out of the hands. You could see it's an easy pass to catch. DCE, Coops. We talk about Sam and Hugo. It's a big talking point at this time of the year and what they're going to do.
First and foremost, well, Daly plays game 350 this weekend.
Jeez,
he should be celebrated as one of the greatest Manly Sea Eagles players of all time. He's going through a tough spot at the moment, but whatever celebrations they have, he deserves everything that's coming his way. And you and I can speak to this because he's 36 years of age, may or may not be playing on next year, we've got no idea. But there's one thing that you need to be able to do as a halfback at the later stages is you need to stay physical. And on the weekend, there's a couple of moments where Daly sort of removed from physicality. The ball goes through here, and Daly has an opportunity to come back through here on Taruva and missed him. That's a hips tackle, legs tackle every day of the week. You and I both know as a half, once you lose that physical nature, no shoulder contact, falling over, you're missing the contest. And I feel like this is the defensive aspect of it. On the flip side, when you're running the football, you need to be able to take advantage of a run. This one here, that is a left foot, run the ball, carry over, Dewey, score every day of the week. He just finessed it to the left-hand side.
You can see that, Coop.
The advice to Daly is, mate, if you want to play on, do whatever, but find your physicality, because I know at the back end of my career, I limped to the finish line. Like, getting a whack, squaring up defenders wasn't enjoyable at 36 years of age. But you have to do it because it created space for other people. Once I stepped away from it, that would have hurt the team's performance.
I found that as like I back into my career, I started to get a lot of hamstring and soft tissue injuries, and it was an awful feeling because in a game you're looking for space. You know, all of a sudden, you know, when you've got younger legs and midway through your career, all of a sudden there's a space and you go through it. That's what you're looking for. At the very back end, my last year, like I'd see a little bit of space and I'd go, oh no. You know, oh shit.
Defensively,
because you can't.
Defensively, back row coming at you. You backpedal and just trying to absorb contact. In your 20s, you hit your shoulder and you're taken to contact. So he just needs to find the physicality.
It was interesting talking to Brad Parker, who had a terrific career, Brad, at Manly. I was talking to him about the decision to retire, and he said I just kept breaking down. He said it got to the point that the boys would laugh at training because trying to warm up, it'd take me so long to grease the wheels. And he said he knew it was time because in a game he took an intercept. And as soon as he took the intercept, he went, oh, you know what I mean? He's going, oh, no. And it was like he was almost like waiting for the defenders to catch up to him because he felt like he was about to tear something.
Did you have a moment at the back end when you just knew you were done?
Oh, definitely. Last year, you actually, the longer you go, if you're not careful, like, through the career, you start to suffer some concussions. And sometimes when you get to the very end, you get more susceptible. Get to the point you get nicked on the chin and.
It was for me. If I watched the game back, and for example, Daly there against the Tigers, if I saw that I didn't run the ball because I passed, that was a sign for me I didn't want to take it. He would have seen that left foot back inside because he's a smart footy player, but he was moving too sideways and wanted to shove off the pass. What do you reckon about Wade Egan's service from WR? Best in the game?
He's the WAR 7, firstly. And
with
we
the injuries, centralise your attack.
No doubt, mate. And Tanner Boyd and Chanel looked so comfortable with him there. But again, you talk about core fund. This bloke's got the best pass in the game, right? And just the way he links around the rucks too. God, he's got a lot of Cameron Smith in him. But just if you just watch the pass and it comes out and it just rotates beautifully. Yeah, if you're a playmaker and you're standing at first receiver and copping it off Wade, you can almost catch the ball blindfolded.
Yep.
They're just a replica. Every pass is a replica.
So for everyone at home, do you think it should be a spiral pass or the traditional 6 o'clock pass?
This is interesting, Coop. This is because I see when they're coming through the grades, young schoolboys players, they get taught 6 o'clock passing. Now, for people who don't know what that is, it's basically where your hands go down and you pass like that, and the ball comes out.
Rotates over its top.
Rotates over and over. Right. We spoke about this before. I agree with that when you go to the line. If you go to the line, holding the ball torpedo style, as you said before, it becomes predictable. They can see that. But your hips, biomechanics, I'm getting really into transport, but your hips drops. Yeah. And you don't have good as running through it. When you hold the ball down nice and low, you are more open to a short pass and be able to run the ball. But, Coops, I think what's imperative, if the pass is going to go more than 5 metres, you've got to roll the wrists over the top and get it rotating. I don't want to cop a long ball off you that's sort of spinning and going up and down. Yep. I want nice rotation on the ball that's just predictable. I know where it's coming from.
I agree with you, and this is some top-end train spotting stuff. Now, you need to have both in your kit bag as a ball player. If you are continually holding the ball like this, it's going to be a spiral. As a defender, I can see the hands position like that, and the majority of your pass will be long because you're looking for the spiral.
Yep.
Wade Egan has a really soft spiral pass.
It does.
Which helps, right?
Yep.
And on the vice versa, if you're holding it at 6 o'clock, you're most likely going to pass short the majority of the time.
Yep.
But if you decide to go long, like you said, you either have to rip that 6 o'clock pass or you have to invert your hands and get the spiral going. Because as a defender, you can see things unfold with the hand position on the ball. But on the flip side, if you're playing a game of chess, you can manipulate that.
And when the ball comes out of Wade's hands, like he catches the ball and he just sort of gently throws it, but the ball rotates really fast. And they talk about it in NFL football. One of the first things they talk about when they're scouting quarterbacks is what's the rotation like out of the hand? It's just, we talk core fundamentals. It's core fundamental in that game. Let's look ahead to next Friday. It's the biggest night of rugby league so far this year. Yeah. Canberra versus Penrith. It's in Mudgee.
Yep.
How Glen Willows. How good is that for Mudgee? Fair dinkum. What a game. One of the games of the season. And then we've got the Storm and the Dogs straight after that. Give me your thoughts on both.
So
games.
I think the Raiders stuff, I think a bit like the Broncos, they can't start not playing that confident style because if they are 5% off, a great defensive team like Penrith will suffocate them. So Weeks, Strange, Seb Chris, they need to be lights out from the gun, confident, running the football when they normally see. The thing about Penrith, I marvel at what they've done this year. Defensively, really strong, but what makes their attack rock solid is a play on the weekend. It was a lead-up play to Zaya Papali'i. Everyone needs to be on the same page, and communication is the key. They're attacking on the right to pick Melbourne on the left. Mitch Kenny knew it was coming. If he's standing there, it shuts down that play, and Casey McLean goes within a centimetre, the disjointed line, and look at this. Mitch Kenny removing back. That's a set play to get McLean one-on-one on the outside here with Nick.
Isn't that some sort of understanding to say, righto, we're going to hit them right on the far left side, but we're going to start almost on the scrum line to the right, do an inside block and start to bring it back.
So I can tell you what happened. Nathan Cleary would have run past the ruck and say, Mitch Kenny, this player's coming back, and he's thrown the ball. And how many times do we see players come back across the field and players in the road, run in front, obstruction? This is what makes Penrith a really good side. Yeah, just everyone dialed in, knew the role.
Synchronicity. Everyone's just synchronised. And at the start of the year, ushering all those young players in, McLean, Blaze, all that, you can understand why it was clunky because that's a complex attack.
Yep. And then, so Panthers, Raiders, 6 o'clock. Got Storm versus the Dogs afterwards. Talk me through it.
Dogs have got to be very careful with their style. Talk about complex attack. It's a complex game. Like short passing. They don't engage the middle lot. A lot of it is short passing and sort of pushing from edge to edge. Very, very clever football. But, and I know that it irks the Dogs, but it is true. slippery, wet conditions, it's a problematic style at times.
Yeah.
You've really got to be on your game. And sometimes, Coop, when I'm watching them, the Dogs have got the propensity to beat themselves because they're just determined to play that style of football,
Yep.
right?
I like the Dogs' attack with Crichton moving to fullback at different stages. Does Tuala line up on Xavier Coates?
That's a big one. I don't know what it is with Marcelo Montoya.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
There'll be a change there. I don't think Tuala will be on the right wing up against Coates.
Yeah. It's going to be a fascinating game. It's a really big game for the Dogs. I mean, Dogs, big game for both sides. Storm win. You know, they're right up to their eyeballs and grabbing another minor premiership. And I know you know more than anyone, the Melbourne Storm, how important that is for Craig and a top 2 spot. But the Dogs will be more desperate because they need a big scalp. Growth. Good on you, Coops.
Good on you, mates.
Thanks, pal.